The Tush Push debate has taken over the NFL, and while we do not yet have an official ruling, we do get to hear from the Eagles brass and their thoughts on a potential ban. Also, we get to hear from Coach Nick Sirianni at the league meetings as he discusses Dallas Goedert and a potential trade. And lastly, we get to hear from Howie Roseman. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be his biggest quote of the offseason because guess what? He says the birds are not done yet. We will break it all down. But welcome into A to Z Philly. I'm RB. Do me a favor, like this video, go down below, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate everybody supporting us through the off season. And we will start off with the new season because there are going to be new rules. That is right. Maybe not the one we expected to hear about today, but Ian Rappaport says here that a couple rules were passed. Number one, the NFL will allow both teams to possess the ball in overtime, but amended to 10 minutes. Somewhere on a beach right now, Josh Allen is smiling. Also, expanded replay assist has been passed. So maybe they'll start to get more things right now. Hopefully, right? That's the goal. I mean, you know, we have to see it play out, see how it works. Also, on kickoffs, they have now moved the ball to the 35 for a touchback. It is kind of ironic, in my opinion, because a couple years ago, they were trying to eliminate kickoffs. Now they want them back, and they want them more than ever. I don't know. You give me your thoughts on the new rule changes down below. And also, the NFL announced that Sony Hawkeye technology will be used to electronically measure first downs. Chain crew will remain on the sideline as backup, but a new era is underway here in the NFL, all dictated by technology. So give me your thoughts on that. But let's get to the important stuff, okay? Because Derek Gunn puts this out on Twitter, and we haven't had really a new update on Dallas Goedert in a couple weeks, ever since we made that video about, hey, there could be a potential trade. You know, here's what we're hearing, right? Howie's scouring the trade market. They want to bring back Goedert, but based on the other moves this offseason, based on his cap number and where the Eagles are at, it is a possibility that he could be traded. And we have known that for weeks now. But D-Gun puts this out today. He says there's no doubt the Eagles want Goedert back this season, but they are hoping to reduce his financial number. Howie's the best at moving money to make things work, but in case the two sides cannot come to an agreement, the birds will find a trade partner. And unless you are drafting somebody in the first round that you are 100% confident in, I just don't think this is a good decision. But you give me your thoughts down below. And we finally got to hear from somebody else, aka Nick Sirianni, on the Dallas Goedert situation. Here's what he had to say when asked if he wants Dallas Goedert back. Quote, "Right now he's on our football team. Obviously, Dallas has meant a lot to us. We'll see how it plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader. Want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL. We'll see what happens and how that happens, but of course you want everyone back." So Nick Sirianni seems like he's in a tough spot right here. It's hard to comment on this, but I mean, this gives you all of the validity you need, right? Like, it is a true rumor. The Eagles will be shopping Dallas Goedert. Now, again, if they can make the money work and they're talking to his agent and they can find a middle ground, sure. So Nick Sirianni kind of confirms here, you know, yeah, I mean, we want Dallas back, but he's definitely being shopped right here. Got to read between the lines a little bit. And Howie Roseman also commented on Dallas Goedert, who is reportedly on the trade market. He said, quote, "No update. Obviously, Dallas has been a tremendous player and person for us. The opportunities that we got in free agency with Harrison Bryant and Kylan Granson were just opportunities we felt were good for our football team. I know certainly that Dallas is a unique player, so really that's kind of where we're standing." So Howie not giving too much more intel on that. I do agree about the backup tight ends, and that's what they are, quite honestly, backup tight ends, which again is why I still think they need to bring Dallas Goedert back. But he is the type of GM to have guys like that waiting, you know, as the backups and waiting for the future. So, you know, I think that really is what it is. I don't think he's sugarcoating that, but I think he's going to try to make it work with Dallas Goedert. So we'll see what happens with that. But ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing I heard today was in regards to Howie's quotes on CJ Gardner-Johnson and the offseason. Now, we're going to take this piece by piece, but it's very important. So let's start off with Howie finally speaking on the CJ Gardner-Johnson trade. Quote, "I think if you're just taking the CJ move in a vacuum, it's kind of not giving the whole perspective of where we're at. I think Chauncey did a great job for us both the years that he was with us, making the Super Bowl twice in 2 years with him as our starting safety." Okay, boom. Howie realizes his impact, his value. That's why a lot of us were frustrated when he got traded. Plus, it's not like you got the world back. So why did you trade him? Well, I think we finally got some clarity on that here. Quote, really, when you look at our team and you look at the kind of amount of highly paid players who earn their contracts, we have 8 guys who are making $15 million or more. We have guys from the 22 to 24 drafts. We have 8 starters who are on the Super Bowl team. None of those guys have long-term contracts. In those drafts, probably have 5 or 6 players that will be competing for starting jobs. So here's Howie's response to why he traded CJ Gardner-Johnson. It's all a money game. It's all a business. And it is a little surprising given that he signed CJ to a 3-year deal, pretty much a 2-year deal with an option for another year last year, right? That's the original contract. That's what he signed him to. But I think Howie is, again, trying to get out in front of it because he goes back mentally to 2018 and he doesn't want to make the same mistake where, you know, he's paying all the vets and it comes a time where you got to make a decision and you don't want to have a lot of dead weight on the roster. Now, I personally do not think CJ would be that. I think he's a very vital piece of the defense and he's an important player. And I think you're taking a huge risk. But Howie looks at it as, I have all these draft picks this year or next year. I'm going to draft a new starting safety. Or I'm going to go out and sign a vet who may not be extremely talented or may not be just as good as CJ Gardner-Johnson, but he's going to be pretty good, right? He'll be average and he'll fit the scheme of the defense. Now, I do think something else still could have happened beneath the surface. Maybe they don't like his attitude or his work ethic or whatever it is. The fact of the matter is that this guy produces, he shows up, he's a professional, and he is a damn good player. So I think Howie's going from one end of the spectrum to the other side. So it went from I paid all these guys too late to I'm not even trying to get close to having an opportunity where I pay someone and it doesn't work out. I still think you could have let him play out the rest of this season and then traded him. But Howie wanted to get it done now because next offseason he's going to have to pay a lot of young players. So that's why he did it. I still wish they could have got back more in a trade, but, you know, maybe it's a mixture of both. We'll never know. Howie says you have a lot of players coming through that aren't under long-term contracts, a lot of guys who are on long-term contracts. We never want to be in a situation where we have 1 year where we're getting rid of 20 guys. I said this a couple weeks ago. He's trying to create that balance rather than focusing, like, let's say, on 1 more year of trying to win a Super Bowl. He's trying to extend that window to 3, 4, 5 years. So he's taking a hit now. They're taking a bit of a sacrifice now, but he believes that especially with his good drafting and that record showing over the last couple years, that they're going to have enough guys to bring in where the next 3, 4, 5 years, it'll just be like cycling in young guys. And they already showed that they can win with talented young players this year with Vic Fangio's defense. So I think that's the method and the strategy that they're going with here. It's also got to align with the draft and having young players. Certainly that's the important thing to do is draft well and then keep your players. So we got to make sure that going forward, we have an opportunity to do that. A lot of players that we're talking about are good young players that we're excited about. So we had to make some tough decisions here. Also, Howie Roseman discusses the Philadelphia Eagles and what could come next. He says, quote, "We are incomplete right now. You know, there's no doubt about it. Talent acquisition season has just started. It goes for a long time. And we continue to try to find any possible ways to upgrade the depth and talent level on our team. Again, it just looks different than maybe it looked last year when a big focus was on probably in the free agent market. But being able to re-sign your own players, those are part of what we're trying to do to get out in front of things. Obviously, when you lose good players, you want to replace them. We will continue to look at ways." So, ladies and gentlemen, we are so far from being done. Howie has had to let a couple guys go that are beloved with this franchise. He's had to make some tough decisions, but you think he's done. He is so motivated and inspired to get this roster where they want to be before the first kickoff of the season. And yeah, he knows what it feels like. He knows how it tastes now. He wants to go back to back. Lastly, the truth comes out about the Tush Push. They are trying to ban it. They just didn't do it yet. All right, I didn't think it would get here, but according to Rap Sheet, discussions on the Tush Push have been tabled until a later date. They will be waiting until sometime in May till they meet again to try to get this thing banned. The question is, will they have enough steam behind it? Ari Mirov says, here's where things stand. 16 owners supported banning the Tush Push. NFL could revisit in May. If they do, those 16 owners will work to sway 8 more votes because it has to be 24 total in order to get it banned. It's not over yet. So they're obviously trying to ban it. Howie Roseman doesn't like it. Here's what Howie did according to ESPN. There were 2 head coaches, Sean McVay and Sean McDermott, gathered in a hallway during the league meetings, and Howie went up and had an animated side convo. All I've been seeing the last 2 days, we talked about this, 4 days ago? I've been seeing the last 48 hours, everybody's whining and crying, oh, these injuries, and somebody's going to get injured. There are absolutely 0 instances of injury on this play. They are salty, they are petty, they are jealous because they can't do it as good as the Eagles. We'll have to wait another month and a half, but Jeff Lurie commented today on the Tush Push ban, and he says, quote, there isn't injury data. It's a precision play. It's a play available to every other team in the league. Exactly. Lurie shreds it. He says, look, you guys can't do it like us. They not like us, unfortunately. But hey, that's your problem. That's not my problem. We'll keep winning. And ladies and gentlemen, even if they ban this, the Eagles are going to find another loophole. They're still going to be successful. Don't you understand? They have the perfect personnel for it. Go ahead, run a campaign, do whatever you have to do. At the end of the day, the Eagles are Super Bowl champs, and they're going to have a good chance next year as well, with or without the Tush Push. So for now, we'll just wait, and we'll see what happens. But give me all your thoughts on everything down below. What do you think the Eagles should do the rest of the offseason? What do you think happens with Dallas Goedert? As always, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one.